seasonal factors may be contributing. Officials say most cases remain mild, but high-risk groups are being urged to take precautions. Ron Warner, USA Radio News.
A Surfrider Foundation report shows that cigarette butts are Hawaii's most common beach litter.
Volunteers collected about 170,000 pounds of trash during 54 cleanups across Maui, Kauai, and Oahu. That accounts for more than half of the nearly 340,000 pounds collected nationwide. Surfrider says cigarette filters contain synthetic plastic fibers that break down slowly and can release toxic chemicals into the ocean. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
AAA reports the national average price for a gallon of gas is $4.09. Highest average is found in Mono County, California at $6.82, while Floyd County, Indiana has the lowest average at $3.24. For USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
iLocal.net is offering a free website analysis to improve the online presence of your business. Business owners across the U.S. turn to iLocal.net to improve their search engine rankings. Search engines are constantly changing their algorithms. You need the professionals who know how to use those changes to benefit your business. Don't hope for new customers. Get found and be chosen. Visit iLocal.net/go for your free website analysis. iLocal.net/go.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX-15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit. With a threaded Torque Lock design, these cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. Are you tired of those tax problems following you around like a dark cloud? Always in the back of your mind, losing sleep at night? Call me now and get your life back. 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com. Pretending they're not there won't make them go away. The IRS isn't going to forget. They will levy your bank account and garnish your wages. Don't wait for that to happen. I'm not telling you these things to scare you. I'm telling you so you can benefit from my years of experience. Now is the time to act. 888-557-4020.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
Last weekend, there were a lot of polls in the NTPA, including a Super National and Grand National hook. Coming to you from the NTPA headquarters in Marion, Ohio, this is the NTPA Overnight Report. I'm Greg Hunter. 5 classes made their way to Chapel Hill, Tennessee for the Lions Super Bowl of the South. Friday in the Newfields Ag Superstock Diesels, Brandon Hunt took the win over Colin Ross and Travis Schlabach. On Saturday, Colin Ross improved to the top spot over Steve Blagrave and Kent Payne. The AP1 Insurance and Premier Crop Modified Minis went the way of Troy Arnett on Friday, with Adam Bauer and Mason Theobald rounding out the top 3. Saturday, Adam Bauer took his Iron Toy up to the top spot over Grant Theobald and Chase Richardson. Moving on to the Yoder Popcorn Pro Stock Tractors, Chance McGrath picked up the win on Friday with a hook of exactly 320, which was 5 feet better than Brandon Schrammick and Grayson Shelton. Saturday, the top spot went to Dennis Schrammick aboard the second-place tractor from Friday, followed by Kevin Schmucker and Jackson Mays. Moving on to the Unlimited Modifieds, the win on Friday went to reigning national champ Joe Ader, followed by Saturday's winner David Richardson and Adam Bauer rounding out the top 3. As mentioned on Saturday, David Richardson did pick up the win over Joe Ader and Wayne Purser. Rounding out Chapel Hill was the A to Z blow molding 4-wheel drives, which had Anna Mangren picking up the win after tugging the sled 345, which topped the 341.93 of Jim Holman and the 341.91 of Rob Foster. Moving on to the Grand National Hook in Brandenburg, Kentucky, there were 4 classes that hit the dirt. Friday to open the show were the High Torque Super Farms, which had Stan Warda picking up the win over Russell Fries and John Silsby. Moving on to the Prairie Ag Solutions Light Superstocks, they were the only other class to finish their hooks in Brandenburg before Mother Nature decided to change everyone's plan. Jacob Fekwa took the win over Brian Bowles and Cody Cheezick. The rest in Brandenburg was rained out. There were also a number of regional hooks last week, including a Region 3 hook in Houston, Minnesota that had 8 classes in the dirt. Also a Region 2 hook happened in Springfield, Ohio with 5 classes, and another Region 2 hook that had 4 classes hitting the dirt in Iona, Michigan. This weekend, all eyes are on Fort Recovery, Ohio with 8 Grand National classes hitting the track. During session 1 of 3 Friday evening, the Superstock Diesels, Modified Minis, 2-wheel drive trucks, Superstock Diesel trucks, Super Farms, semis, and Unlimited Modifieds all hit the track. During the early session on Saturday, the semis return along along with the light modifieds and super farms, along with light pro stocks from Region 2. The evening session on Saturday has the Region 2 pro stockers opening for the super stock diesels, modified minis, two-wheel drive trucks, super stock diesels, light mods, and unlimited mods. All 3 sessions are live on Full Pole. If you want to see polling in person close to home, there's a Region 2 hook in Lebanon, Indiana, a Region 2 hook also in Imlay City, Michigan, and there are also hooks in Arlington, Minnesota, Middlebourne, West Virginia, Marysville, Ohio, Antigua, Wisconsin, Morley, Michigan, Montevideo, Minnesota, and Talmadge, Ohio. We're definitely in the heart of polling season, so there is a poll near you. Find the entire schedule for all regions at ntpapoll.com. This has been the NTPA Overnight Report. I'm Greg Hunter. Remember, pull hard.
We are back. It's a Gremlin Thursday. Welcome back, Pappy.
Thanks for holding me over, Steve. I got to get to Dr. Evil here before I hang up, man. But so I usually leave about 20 after 6 to go to these details, and I was running the tad late. They were still here. I walked out the door at 6:30. They're still here. And the owner's still here, right? I went ahead and handed him the check. And, dude, Steve, you should have seen the look on the Hispanics' faces when I walked out. How come, you ask? Well, I'm in uniform.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And I went, oh. The guy that worked his butt off, right? He's sitting on the back of the tailgate. And I'm like, hey, I want to see your green card. And the other guy started laughing. And then he started laughing. He realized I was just messing with him. So I get up, get a cruiser. And whoever drove the damn car before didn't gas it up. I had to stop and get gas. And I got a flat tire in the damn cruiser out there on the highway. But luckily, these guys had the professional patch kits to fix the daggone thing. You know, it happens to them all the time, driving on the shoulders all the time. You know, but, yeah. Then to come find out, that branch came down during that storm. I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it till today. Pretty sad, ain't it? All right, on to Dr. Evil. Man, Steve. I mean, we've been talking about him for years. And we were right all from the get-go. We had our sneaking hunches that there were some shenanigans going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
And, listen, you know, trained investigators, right? FBI guys, even locals here that work, you know, where I used to. They go to these interview tactic schools where you can read people, right? Everybody develops facial recognition when they're telling the truth, when they're lying, right? That's why Dr. Evil don't want to tell you what color his tie is, because he'll be telling the truth. And everybody watching will be able to establish what his facial recognitions is like when he's telling the truth. You follow me?
Gotcha. So if you answer no questions, there's no facial recognition of lying or truth. I got you.
Yeah, there's going to be, you know, a lot of times, sometimes it's for whatever reason. Sometimes when people lie, they always look to the left after they lie, you know, or they'll repeat the question before, you know, did you rape Amanda? Did I rape Amanda? No, you know, and then they'll, you know, their eyes a lot of times will go to the left or go to the down. Each person's a little bit, I don't know. They're, you know, they get real sophisticated, but there's people, and you know, it's like a lie detector, polygraph. They're not 100% accurate, right? I don't even know, you know, like polygraphs can't be used in court, but it can be used during investigation, you know. trying to establish if somebody's BSing you or not. So, anywho, did you hear about the diaries that came out?
And that was the key about his, I guess, his egotistic, the fact that he was the darling of all the media, and he was just loving all that.
Yeah, man. Steve, this literally is like in the Austin Power movies with Dr. Evil, man. This is him, dude. Real life Dr. Evil. And the news media went along with it. And Steve, here's the thing, okay? Trust the science, man. It's all he said. Trust the science. And from the get-go, nothing but lies. And here's the thing. If this was like a honest mistake, right? Hey, we got it wrong, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Okay. You know, you could maybe kind of forgive the guy so much for being an expert, right? Dr. Evil. Some credentials you got there, Dave. So it's one thing if they just got it wrong. It's another thing when you purposely mislead people. And that's what he done.
And we're ultimately forcing millions to take the jab or lose their job. And I reshared the video yesterday, the viral, where the guy was, kind of like in the hood. They were going door to door trying to convince people to take the shot. They were going to pay them money to actually take this shot. How about Dr. Burks, a.k.a. Dr. Scarf? Is she complicit? And here our potential next governor in Ohio, a.k.a. Amy Acton. She was a Dr. Fauci, too, here in Ohio, doing the exact same thing.
Man, see, let's just pray, man, that this wakes everybody up to all the expert scientists. He is the reason. He's the main cause of the lack of trust in government now.
Yes.
Right? Just totally gone. Right? And, when Trump gets in office, you trying to build that trust back. But like I said, last week, man, you got players inside in his administration, right? Are Dr. Evil supporters. They're spies, so to speak, inside trying to sabotage Trump. And sometimes you don't just know who they are, man. They do this stuff so secretly, they're so dang good at it.
Yeah, and on this particular issue, though, why is this even a blue versus a? Were there any Democrats that actually had any legitimate questions or were angry that he wasn't answering? I only watched about 30 minutes worth and I gave up. But all I heard from any Democrat that I listened to was trying to I guess, help him cover, offer cover for him. Thank you so much for your sacrifice, for all you've done for this country, and.
Of course, because they're on it with them, Steve. They know. Come on, they know. They don't care. They don't care about how many hundreds of thousands or millions of people around this world died because of this man. Right? They don't care. They give two craps. The thing is, Steve, the list of stuff, though. I mean, if we went back to the start, right, of COVID and just went through this whole list of you got to trust the science, right? You got to wear the mask, the whole mask thing. It was all BS.
6 feet apart.
Come on, Steve. We talked about this from the get-go. I said that mask, and you go, that's like spraying a chain link fence with water, How much water is that stopping, man?
Right.
You put a full respirator on, okay? Then it was even coming out that when you're wearing these masks, right, the carbon monoxide that you are breathing out is worse for you when you wear the mask for a long period of time. And when you're talking with these young kids, right, that were forced to wear these masks during school, it had effects on them. It could cause some serious issues with lack of oxygen to the brain. One thing that came out in his diaries, 8 out of 10 other scientists, when it first came out, was saying, listen, man, there's a good chance this came from the Wuhan lab in China. Right? 2 were saying, no, it came from that penguin or bat deal, right?
Right. The wet lab.
Yeah. You know, they like eating bats, man. That's how it started. And you say it started from China, you're racist. Now you're being racist, playing that card. The news media was doing it, CNN, all the anchors, all over this daggone mask, all over how this thing got started. I still think it was probably deliberate. Don't really have much proof on that, but there's some things that lead to saying that there's a pretty good chance it might have been. But from the mask, then they got him at one of the baseball games with his mask off, right?
Right.
Next to, they told everybody to, hey, no Thanksgiving or Christmas this year, man. No little family gatherings here, man. We you're at risk. And what's Fauci do? In his little diaries, he talks about that one main news anchor for CNN. It turned out Fauci knew this guy for a long since his dude was a kid. That's why he covered for him. Went over to his house several times and had dinner. So then they decide they're going to close the schools. And Fauci was on either Fox, saw this clip, saying, I had nothing to do with them schools being closed, man. I had nothing to do with that. Well, that ain't what his diary says. And that ain't what some other clips said.
Mm-hmm.
Some other clips that were played from CNN, right? In his diary, he said, who was Como was the mayor of New York at the time, right? Or governor, whatever the hell he was.
Right, correct.
Calls Fauci. They have a conversation over the telephone. This is in his diary. And asks Fauci his opinion on what he should do about closing these schools. That there's been so many cases in this one area. And Fauci said, I recommend you close the schools. But he tells this daggone reporter, I think from Fox Live on TV, I had nothing to do with that. Then he writes in his diary that Grease Boy out there in California, the governor, calls Fauci. No, he didn't call him. Fauci wrote in his diary that Como decided to close the schools in California based on a CNN interview that Fauci gave on CNN. But he wants to sit here and says he had nothing to do with it.
Right.
With the schools, and we after the fact we heard of the damage that it done to these kids. I mean, the reading level and the aptitude of these kids, Steve, are, I mean, we see it all the time. They don't know history, right? I think there was one school in Chicago Bongino was talking about a week ago. Not one student in that public school was able to read at their grade level. How bad is that? Right?
Sad.
Pretty sad. So when you shut down the schools and these kids lose, guy did make a comment though. He said that was a bad deal. We should have never closed the schools. We should have never shut this country down. But when we shut the schools, well, sometimes hindsight's 20/20. What came out of that good, Steve? Kids are now sitting in the living room doing their homework. Right? Mom's in there doing the dishes because she's got to stay home with the kids. She can't go to work. She's overhearing what they're teaching these kids in school. What? What did I just
Right.
see on your laptop? The noon hour is transgender hour. Some of the books that they were told to read, all this transgender stuff that they were introducing to these elementary kids, and the parents got wind of it. So that was the only good thing that happened, was closing these schools. The 6-foot rules, stay 6 foot away. Fauci's like, hey, there's no scientists for that. We just decided that, hey, it might be a good deal. Good idea to stay 6 foot away from people. Steve, what did that cost all these businesses that were allowed to stay open, right? Kroger's, grocery stores, and cash. Steve, they had to go out and invest all this money, thousands of dollars, for these little foot stickers to tell you where to stand, and the plexiglass.
Yep.
It costs these companies. It's just, and then these governors are deciding what's an essential business. What right does a governor have to decide whether your business is essential or not? You follow me?
Absolutely.
I heard one guy was talking. It was the, what's that guy's name, Dagon? He does the Trump impersonation. John something, maybe. I forget his name, but he's got one Trump impersonator. It does Trump. You can't even tell it's not Trump. He was like that. Man, I lost my train of thought. But when it comes to keeping these businesses open, there was a Buffalo, what they did in New York, because he lived in New York, right? They let the bars open only if they served food. Okay?
Yep.
If it was a bar that they didn't serve food, Como decided that those can't be open, only if they serve food. So they found that everybody was ordering buffalo wings, right, with their beers. What did Como do? He came out and said, we don't consider buffalo wings food anymore. So take that off the menu. You got to order something else. What kind of games are they playing with us, man? This man has the authority, and people actually follow these rules, Steve. That's why I went into pre when I did. It's right when COVID hit. I was eligible to retire and to go into pre. And the reason was, I told you before over there when I was still working. I'll say it again now that I'm fully retired. I'm telling you right now, even as a supervisor, I was a sergeant, a lieutenant or a captain or a major. Somebody would have called me and said, hey, go shut down Joe's store up there. He's not an essential business. And if he refuses, you arrest him. Nope, not doing it. Not this guy. Well, then you're fired. Okay, fire me. I got my pension. I still got my pension.
Yeah.
And then when this is all said and done with, and I've been fired and I've been off for 3 years, I think I'll file a lawsuit and get my payback.
Yeah, well, give your job back now. Can you please come back? And that's kind of what they're doing. That's what the military is actually, right now, trying to offer them to come on back. Yeah, sorry about that. No harm, no foul, right?
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground.
U.S. forces are striking Iran after American troops came under missile attack yesterday.
We're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them.
The Pentagon says the strikes are aimed at Iranian military targets and Iran-backed troops following the barrage of missiles targeting U.S. positions in the Middle East. Those missiles were intercepted. Raskin claims that the GOP momentum has faded.
Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin says he believes Republican enthusiasm has declined ahead of the election, pointing to what he describes as strong Democratic energy on the campaign trail. Raskin also criticized Republican election policies and raised concerns about potential disputes over voting rules. Republicans have pushed back, arguing their voters remain highly engaged. Ron Warner, USA Radio News.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
No matter who we are or where we come from, we all experience difficulties in life.
Military veterans know that sometimes it takes strength and determination to make it through.
Whether it's obvious physical challenges or struggles on the inside, it takes strength to ask for help when you need it.
I knew that I had to get support, not just for me, but for the sake of my wife and kids.
Talking about it has helped me feel more like myself again.
Honestly, it was hard to open up at first, but it's changed my life for the better.
Learn how veterans like us have reached out for help, and hear stories of strength and recovery at MakeTheConnection.net.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Like the men and women who power America, the people at Hot Shot Secret work hard and play harder. We're the fastest growing diesel and oil additive brand in the country. We solve problems. We protect engines. We save you money. And more importantly, time. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
It's time to step up your fuel filtration game. The AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel system doesn't just filter fuel like the others. It fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The AirDog removes contaminants, including particulates, water, air, and vapor, optimizing the pressure feed, providing your engine with the ultra-clean supply of fuel it needs for the quickest starts, smoothest idle, best fuel economy, and highest performance possible. Get started on the road to optimization today at AirDogDiesel.com. Truckers spend lots of hours on the road. So when it comes to staying connected, you need a headset that works just as hard as you do. Blue Parrot is the #1 headset brand for professional drivers, and we've taken the quality you've come to expect from us and made it even better. Check out our newest headsets, the Pro B350 and Pro B450, offering you more hours of talk time, better voice control, extreme comfort, and industry-leading AI voice isolation microphones. So you can spend more time talking about the important things and less time repeating yourself. To get yours, check out BlueParrot.com. Blue Parrot, hear and be heard.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor, here with Tax Help MD. As many of you know from Steve Sommers' show, I've been helping professional drivers solve their tax problems. I can help you too. If you've been struggling with back tax debt, call me now at 888-557-4020. Let's face it, these problems aren't going away all on their own. You need professional help so you can sleep better at night knowing you're in good hands. It's like I always say, keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep my eyes on the IRS. 888-557-4020.
So you missed an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, and now you're suffering night sweats and panic attacks. Well, don't worry, we've got the cure. Never miss a broadcast of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Consistently ranked as one of the top podcasts and radio shows in America, we've made it easy for you to catch up on past shows. Find the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts or at overnightdriveradio.com. And never miss an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Because Channel 19's a little congested. Call Steve now at 844-844-3388. The Overnight Drive.
All right, on to Arizona, where lawmakers tackled several issues that matter to the trucking industry. But your beloved governor, Katie Hobbs, vetoed all but one. Hobbs rejected the bill aimed at truck drivers using non-domiciled CDLs. That legislation that would have required drivers to prove they're legally in the country during traffic stops. A foreign or out-of-state CDL alone would not have been enough. If you can't provide proof, you'd be placed out of service, and the penalties did not end there. Truck could be impounded, cargo could be impounded. The truck would stay parked until the violations were cleared, leaving the owners stuck with the bill. Hobbs said the bill's unnecessary and redundant, as Arizona is committed to following federal guidelines set by the FMCSA. Okay, predatory towing. Truck drivers also lost that fight thanks to the governor. She vetoed House Bill 2305, designed to crack down on predatory towing. One statewide towing standard would have been created. Cities and counties would no longer have been allowed to set their own rates for vehicles removed from private property. The bill also would have made it tougher for towing companies to hook a vehicle. Warning signs would have to meet state standards. Tow operators would have been required to document the parking violation with photos or other evidence. Truck drivers were part of the plan. The bill called for a study committee to review the heavy-duty towing practices and recommend improvements. In her veto message, Hobbs said another towing study wasn't needed because we've already got one underway. She said lawmakers should review the first study before launching another. Representative Biasucci blasting that veto, calling the decision stupid, accusing the governor of siding with the bad actors instead of drivers being hit with the outrageous towing bills. If she would have actually read the bill, she would have understood what the bill does. And so ultimately, one truck driver's bill did make it a law. That's the cargo theft, creating a statewide task force to go after organized cargo thieves. The new team bringing together federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate thefts across the Arizona supply chain, working with the trucking industry to stop theft before it happens. And it targets more than just stolen loads. It goes after the freight fraud, identity theft, load diversions, and other scams, more commonly now used to steal cargo. This covers commercial trucks, trailers, rail cars, intermodal containers, warehouses, freight hubs, distribution centers. Yeah, organized cargo theft is becoming smarter and more aggressive. It is not a victimless crime. While organized criminals steal truckloads of merchandise, food, medical supplies, the cost doesn't just disappear. The Attorney General must provide annual reports to the governor and lawmakers detailing the work of that task force there. So only 1 out of 3. Well, good morning, Vic.
Hey, good morning, Steve. I was listening to Pappy there talking about that deal with Fauci. Actually, of course, we all pretty much said we want to know what's happening, and when they come up with all these different, I guess you would say, figments of people's imagination about this thing was going to kill everybody around the world, and they didn't know what it was and how to deal with it or how it even got there. And the one thing that I got out of today's hearings, I'm like you, I could only sit there and watch that for so long, is the fact that our intelligence agencies knew that was originally called SARS-2, and they knew that in, I will say, mid-2019, that China was having a problem with that. And the reason I've been trying to find somebody to verify that, I remember there in mid-2019, the one brokerage company I was using at the time, and the news sources that they would always post like a synopsis of all the news things around the world. And they mentioned that there was another SARS outbreak in China, but they didn't think it was as deadly as the first one. And then all of a sudden, then they come up in 2020 there and talking about what all had happened. And if you recall, the intelligence agencies, they were in on that Russian collusion scam, that they were trying to say that Trump only won the election in 2016 because the Russians sided with Trump and helped him win the election. And the reason I mention that is now they're talking about like in 2020, and they were trying to look at all the games that were going on, and now they're trying to pass this Save America Act and put some integrity back into the elections. And it's kind of interesting how there's just a total flip on that thing. And when I watched that hearing for a little bit, I watched of it this morning, it was more about giving a lecture on what Trump wasn't doing right now, as far as he's talking about they should be concentrating on the avian flu, and he should be concentrating on this cyclospore or whatever it is there. And then it was kind of interesting because, frankly, and like that in the beef in the New World Screw Worm, for some reason they had 3 labs that were making those sterile male flies. They shut down 2 of those, and they weren't releasing those sterile male flies into the fly population, I guess you would call it. They're in South and Central America, which that's a tropical parasite, I guess you would say. And so now that got all out of hand. And you know what's going on in the beef industry. Maybe they'll get on top of it or not. And the other thing is, I think you guys were mentioning about the supply chain. For something that I've never understood, I've been trying to find out why they were dumping milk and plowing under, potatoes and everything else. No wonder the supply chain was depleted. What was the reasoning on that? But finally, I just give up and said, "Oh, the heck with it." And I thought maybe they'd talk about that mRNA vaccine that they brought up, and so maybe they did later on. I don't know, but the reason I mention that is that messenger RNA. You guys were talking about peptides last night. Basically, that's a short chain of amino acids. And for like your immune properties and everything, you have to have a longer chain of amino acids to create immunity. So they were trying to program the body to recognize that virus, I guess it was, or any virus. And I was looking at all the side effects that comes up with that. Well, actually, one of the side effects that comes up with that, it doesn't help create any immunity. And every body is different, and there's no guarantee that just because you took one of those mRNA shots, regardless of what it's about, that it will even affect the immunity for everybody's body the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I just it just amazed me that all that stuff was going on. And I know, like Pappy was talking about, that's something that you look at people's reactions to different questions and one thing and another. And I've now when you go to apply for a job and stuff, they want you to do it on the computer. You don't have an in-person interview. That's, I don't know how people are doing that. And I've had that discussion with other people. It's like, there are times you just need to bring the prospective employer in and kind of talk to them eyeball to eyeball, as they say, and you'll pick up on a lot of those little things that you see and everything. And of course, all the poker players, they, a tail, they look for those tails. I mean, so that's a pretty common thing, but it just seemed like Fauci was just going to say, I plead the fifth on everything. And that, like they said, he had been given immunity, so I don't know how he's going to create any more data, any more. Well, see what I want to say. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say there. I don't know how he's going to say that he incriminated himself. But the other big thing is, Trump. I don't know how he chooses his people or anything, but you remember how the Heritage Foundation had that Project 25, and they were trying to go through and kind of select people for him even before he was elected, and then all of a sudden they had that feud there with what was it, Tucker Carlson and the Heritage Foundation.
Yep.
People started saying, "Oh no, you're anti-Semite or you're against the Jews or whatever." And I wondered who started that whole feud, because it just didn't smell right to me, I guess I would say. And then a lot of them, they were jumping ship, and I think Mike Pence was trying to have something going on. And a lot of the people around them and stuff, I really didn't trust a whole lot anyway, because I think they kind of sabotaged the first Trump administration. But by and large, and then, of course, in Charlie Kirk, there they had that assassination. I don't know if they ever kind of got that all straightened out. But a lot of things that, I guess you would say, Trump had people running interference for him that were trustworthy. That just kind of all got blew up. And so now, say, when Trump did get elected, I don't know how Tulsi Gabbard came across all the information she did, but there was a lot of meat in there to where they seen where Fauci had corresponded with people in the intelligence agencies and the military, and a lot of that was like some of the treaties that we had that we wouldn't use bio warfare or chemical warfare. That was a violation of all that, and I understand he tried to go to DARPA and get them to pick that up and create that COVID-19 virus gain of function, and they basically refused to do that. So why they couldn't have really looked at all that, and I'm not sure, but if that was a violation of a treaty, they pretty much have to come forward on that. I don't believe that they can get a pass on that, even on the fifth. The whole hearing, to me, just seemed like it boiled down to, you're talking about that Jamie Raskin and the others, it just boiled down to they were taking every chance they had to take a shot at Trump and try to say it failed in one way or the other. And, that avian flu, they were destroying chickens that didn't need to be destroyed. They shut down the sterile male fly labs, 2 of them. And let's see, there was another thing that I was trying to think of. But the like I say, that the avian flu, that particular avian flu, that was going to mammals and stuff, which that I always wondered about that. What they call it. Anyway, it was a super version of the actual avian flu, which they could. And that's one was spread to all the mammals and everything else. So, like I said, instead of actually really getting down to the meat of it and discussing everything, it just turned into a propaganda thing. And why right now that they're fussing about the fact that Trump is going to try to, or the Republicans going to try to manipulate the election or whatever with this Save America Act. Well, I kind of checked on that, and I believe that most of that act thing and about making sure elections were good, that actually came out of the Carter Center, because Jimmy Carter and Howard Baker, they actually had some sort of a group there, and they put together, what they needed to have good elections all around the world when they were trying to get democracy spread around the world. So most of that stuff that's in the Save America Act, that's pretty much the same thing that Carter and Baker come up with. And a lot of the other things with the practices that they're now trying to do, like with like the Somalians there, they just pretty much all vote one way, and they try to get them placed, I think, in, I guess you would say, Republican strongholds, or those that were kind of, 50-50. And so whenever when they're talking about all that stuff, I'm not exactly sure where they're coming up with it as some sort of anti-American or anti-democracy, because they sent Jimmy to that whole bunch of people out of the Carter Center around the world to monitor elections, according to pretty much the standards that Carter and them came up with. So like I said, they just don't look like it that anybody's going to point out that most of that Save America Act is coming up with all kinds of excuses on the Republican side, even, but why they can't do this or that, or they're talking about it. It's Jim Crow era number 2.
Right.
Well, a lot of that stuff was actually in the 1965 Voting Rights Act, and that was to do away with Jim Crow. So I don't know. I really just don't know where they're coming. But the big thing is, I don't believe we'll ever find out the truth of that. But the one statement the one person said, he asked Fauci, he said, do you think, looking back now, it was a good idea to go to a dictatorial nation and have them develop some sort of a vaccine or whatever it was that they were doing? And he wouldn't answer that. Of course, he didn't answer any of them.
Nothing.
But I don't believe that China would pass up an opportunity to basically do a little mischief if people in this country or any country that decided to go over there to develop medicines and everything else, and we won't even get into all the medicine stuff. And out comes either from China or India, and that kind of puts that. I guess you would say put us at great risk.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's why I think the president just last week, gave the pharmaceutical manufacturers the generics or whatever. I gave them 2 years, to bring the manufacturing here. We've got to get off that dependence, China and India. Bring it here, or it's a 100% tariff he's going to implement on them in 2028. So I think most of the manufacturers have already broke ground or have plans on getting to manufacture the drugs our lives depend on here in the USA.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Truckers spend lots of hours on the road. So when it comes to staying connected, you need a headset that works just as hard as you do. Blue Parrot is the #1 headset brand for professional drivers, and we've taken the quality you've come to expect from us and made it even better. Check out our newest headsets, the Pro B350 and Pro B450, offering you more hours of talk time, better voice control, extreme comfort, and industry-leading AI voice isolation microphones. So you can spend more time talking about the important things and less time repeating yourself. To get yours, check out BlueParrot.com. Blue Parrot, hear and be heard. It's time to step up your fuel filtration game. The AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel system doesn't just filter fuel like the others. It fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The AirDog removes contaminants, including particulates, water, air, and vapor, optimizing the pressure feed, providing your engine with the ultra-clean supply of fuel it needs for the quickest starts, smoothest idle, best fuel economy, and highest performance possible. Get started on the road to optimization today at airdogdiesel.com.
Winter is here. When the temperature drops, so does your truck's performance. Avoid fuel gelling by using Hot Shot Secret's EDT Plus Winter Defense, a 7-in-1 fuel booster and anti-gel that improves cold weather performance. The 7-point cetane boost decreases DPF regens and increases fuel economy. Be confident that your engine is running smoothly and trouble-free, even in the coldest temperatures. Hot Shot Secret EDT Plus Winter Defense, available at Pilot Flying J, Amazon, O'Reilly Auto Parts, and HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
What else? On the trucking side, Werner Enterprises CEO says we're just in the third inning in driver attrition right now. What's he mean by that? Werner's second quarter earnings were difficult to find much bad news in. Described the ongoing driver supply shakeout as only in the third inning once again. Leathers pointed to intensifying regulatory enforcement, non-domiciled CDL restrictions, English language proficiency rules, and cabotage crackdowns, plus the FMCSA's ongoing withdrawal of EDL approvals, which he said is dismantling shadow capacity. Werner's adjusted operating margin rose to 4.6% from 2.5% a year ago, with one-way segment revenue per truck per week jumping to $6,114, up from $4,787 a year ago. Company raising their full-year guidance, now expecting revenue per truck per mile to grow anywhere from 10 to 13%. The prior forecast was anywhere from a measly 1 to 4%, citing productivity gains even as qualified drivers grow harder to find. According to FreightWaves, Werner's results and Leather's third inning framing suggest the driver capacity shakeout, reshaping truckload pricing, still has some real runway left. Meaning the current tight capacity, rising rate environment may extend well beyond this earnings cycle rather than just being some sort of a temporary blip. 844-844-3388. News, a service of Industrial Injection, serving Cat, Cummins, Detroit, and more. The knowledge you trust, the quality you depend on. Industrial Injection.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today. Ready to beat the heat this summer? Keep your long haul, short haul, off-road adventure, or just stay cool while on site with Be Cool. Designed with on or off-the-road vehicles in mind, Be Cool offers you DC-powered cooling, low voltage protection, easy installation, and more. Beat the heat with Be Cool. It's the cooler way to go. With air conditioners for semi-trucks starting at $888. Get yours today. Visit b-coolaircon.com or call 778-590-5000. That's 778-590-5000. Truckers spend lots of hours on the road. So when it comes to staying connected, you need a headset that works just as hard as you do. Blue Parrot is the #1 headset brand for professional drivers, and we've taken the quality you've come to expect from us and made it even better. Check out our newest headsets, the Pro B350 and Pro B450, offering you more hours of talk time, better voice control, extreme comfort, and industry-leading AI voice isolation microphones. So you can spend more time talking about the important things and less time repeating yourself. To get yours, check out BlueParrot.com. Blue Parrot, hear and be heard.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor, here with Tax Help MD. As many of you know from Steve Sommers' show, I've been helping professional drivers solve their tax problems. I can help you too. If you've been struggling with back tax debt, call me now at 888-557-4020. Let's face it, these problems aren't going away all on their own. You need professional help so you can sleep better at night knowing you're in good hands. It's like I always say, keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep my eyes on the IRS. 888-557-4020.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground.
U.S. forces are striking Iran after American troops came under missile attack yesterday.
We're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them.
The Pentagon says the strikes are aimed at Iranian military targets and Iran-backed groups following a barrage of missiles targeting U.S. positions in the Middle East. Those missiles were intercepted. Raskin claims that the GOP momentum has faded.
Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin says he believes Republican enthusiasm has declined ahead of the election, according to what he describes as strong Democratic energy on the campaign trail. Raskin also criticized Republican election policies and raised concerns about potential disputes over voting rules. Republicans have pushed back, arguing their voters remain highly engaged. Ron Warner, USA Radio News.
The State Department is planning to reinstate funding for a global vaccination program.
The Trump administration previously halted $600 million for Gavi, an international partnership that gets vaccines to children and the vulnerable in developing countries. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had stopped the funds over concerns about vaccine safety. Tuesday's announcement came from Senator Susan Collins. The Maine Republican said she'd been working to restore the money for an organization she said had a critical role in averting the spread of preventable disease globally and stopping outbreaks before they reach U.S. borders. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
A sanctions bill sponsored by the late Senator Lindsey Graham is receiving bipartisan support.
The bill would double the amount of tariffs on countries that continue buying Russian oil and gas. It would also renew sanctions on Iran that were set to expire at the end of the year. On Tuesday night, the bill passed in the Senate on an 86-12 procedural vote. Final passage in the Senate is expected late this week. The vote came shortly after the funeral of the late Republican senator. President Trump has indicated he will support the measure. I'm Mark Mayfield.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
No matter who we are or where we come from, we all experience difficulties in life.
Military veterans know that sometimes it takes strength and determination to make it through.
Whether it's obvious physical challenges or struggles on the inside, it takes strength to ask for help when you need it.
I knew that I had to get support, not just for me, but for the sake of my wife and kids.
Talking about it has helped me feel more like myself again.
Honestly, It was hard to open up at first, but it's changed my life for the better.
Learn how veterans like us have reached out for help. And hear stories of strength and recovery at maketheconnection.net.
Search and rescue operations are underway after a massive magnitude 6.8 earthquake struck southwestern Japan. There have been at least 18 deaths reported so far.
The U.S. Geological Survey reports the epicenter was near the coastal city of Uki just before 4:30 p.m. local time at a depth of only 6 miles. A shopping mall partially collapsed and a bridge buckled in the quake. Aftershocks continue to rattle residents. More than 3,600 soldiers were mobilized to help with rescue efforts. Thousands are without power. John Sommers, USA Radio News.
A Massachusetts mother accused of killing her 3 children broke down in court as her ex-husband testified. Patrick Clancy described finding the children dead in 2023, while Lindsay Clancy claims postpartum psychosis and an insanity defense. She's accused of strangling her 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and 8-month-old children before she herself attempted suicide. We're in the dog days of summer with record-breaking heat reported just about everywhere, and that means you're most likely losing some sleep.
According to the Mental Health Foundation, heat interrupts sleep by reducing quality and duration, and that can make you cranky. But lack of sleep for more than 3 days can make you really cranky. We don't want that. The Sleep Foundation says your bedroom should be between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit because cool air helps you fall asleep faster, stay in deep sleep longer, and improves your mood. And everyone will appreciate that. I'm Bree Tennis.
And I'm Anthony Lucero, USA Radio News.
Would you know where to turn if you or a loved one became paralyzed? For thousands of families, the National Paralysis Resource Center has been that lifeline. But now federal funding's at risk. Sherman Gillums Jr., a partially paralyzed Marine veteran with the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, explains why.
This is about more than just a budget line. It's about veterans, caregivers, and families, real people who need these resources to live more productive and independent lives.
Learn more at ChristopherReeve.org.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX-15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Advertising on the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive can make a huge difference for your business.
This is Dean Michael, the tax doctor, and I just want to say advertising on Steve Sommers' show has been the best marketing avenue for my business, providing the best return on investment consistently over everything else I've tried. I've done it all from TV commercials, pay-per-click on Google, search engine optimization, social media, and publishing ads in major magazines, but none of them came even close to doing what Steve Sommers' show did for me.
If you're interested in advertising on the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, drop us an email at ssod@hotshotsecret.com.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
Hey, look at there. We cross over the midnight hour on the West Coast. How about it? Officially got us to Thursday. Yeah, you start looking toward the weekend. Hello, Rick in Columbus. I guess it's getting to where the princess is going to tell me, I want a Powerball ticket. Rick says it's now up to $707 million. Okay. Yeah, a couple more draws without a winner, and it'll be up. It'll be that the 1 billion mark again when that lottery fever sweeps the country. It's kind of funny. It's like, when you got a $2 million jackpot, people shrug it off like it ain't even worth messing with. Come on, 20 million? Are you serious? I mean, even after Uncle Sam takes his part and all, you couldn't get by with that? All right. Meanwhile, let's see if Eagle's hanging in there. Back at it. I think, like everybody else, he had some thoughts about Dr. Evil, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to speak about him the first call. Yeah, we remember we talked about this guy, Steve, way back in 2020. This guy is still on the loose. This guy's still on the loose. So, what he did yesterday, I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I heard the newscast as I was driving. What he did today, Steve, he just wasted everybody's time. If I would have been in that courtroom, the fourth or fifth time he said he pleaded the fifth, I'd have got him up out of there, and that would have ended the session right there. They say he did that over 150 times or something like that.
Yeah,
pleaded the fifth. That's a joke. This guy wasted everybody's time. He laughed. Like I say, thanks to Joe Biden giving this guy a pardon, which he shouldn't have done. Joe Biden probably let this guy not face any kind of criminal jail time or nothing. It doesn't look like, thanks to Biden pardoning this loser. And he knows that. That's why he's not answering the questions, because he knows that everything is a blatant lie. He the 6 foot deal, 6 feet nonsense, and the not being with your family members and all these other bogus things that he made up to during the COVID virus was nothing but a joke, a lie. And, I still believe to this day that it was done. A lot of people, to get Trump and cause problems. Because, the economy was roaring. Things were going good, Steve, back in 20, before the virus came out, and then all hell broke loose, and, businesses shut down. People were scared to go to work, and the economy came to a complete stop. And, I don't, some people believe that it was done on purpose. I don't know, but this guy here needs to be under the jail. He don't even deserve to go to jail. How many people this guy is responsible for killing, having a part in their death, and he sits in the courtroom with a smile on his face. It's just embarrassing that this guy is allowed to be free, and he's spending money in the courtroom on this guy. Hopefully they can do something, but what he did today was a complete embarrassment. But I don't think it's over. Donald Trump, he got a grudge against that guy. I think Trump gonna figure out a way to get him back in the courtroom and get justice, because he affected Donald Trump. And that's one thing you got to say about Trump. He don't forget about people when you're doing bad. So I believe that Fauci, he ain't gonna get away with. It ain't gonna be as easy as he think, because as long as Trump is in the White House, he might get away with it once Trump leaves the White House. But he still got another 2 years of Trump, and I think Trump gonna try to make something happen with this loser. But like I said, it's really sad, Steve, that we got a guy like him running around. It might even be another man out there on the loose, kind of like this guy. That's what's even worse. But I want to get back to this situation, Steve, with these Democrats and these people that out there going from state to state with this radical idea. And Steve, that situation, all these people that are talking about, they not worried about the Muslims, they not worried about this radical Islam. These people don't fail to assimilate. You've seen what happened over there in Germany, in what's going over there in England and other countries, where these people have gone into these countries, and every couple of days you hear about another guy getting stabbed, or you just heard about a guy who drove a car was over in Germany, drove a car and ran over all these people. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen in the U.S. It's a matter of when these things are going to take place in the U.S. If the U.S. continue to allow these people to have this agenda, this hatred towards America. These people, they don't like America. They Ilhan Omar's, and the other women, the 4 women that she's associated with in Congress. These people, they don't like the U.S. And like I said, they hate this country. All the Somalians up there in Minnesota, all that's going on, and it's just a matter of time before these people, with Mondami, with somebody like him running loose, it's just a matter of time before these radical ideas start hitting the streets of America, and they start taking their frustrations out on Americans. So American people better be very, very careful. Donald Trump has been telling people for years, Steve, about what's going on in Europe could happen in the U.S. if we don't be careful, because these people are already here, thanks to Joe Biden. They're already here in the country right now, and they're just waiting for the signal or okay to do their thing and start making things happen in America. So people better realize what's going on. Steve, I told you in the first call. Unfortunately, I believe that the midterms are lost, and that's not a good thing. And because we can't allow these radical type people like the Mondamis and these other people that are running loose to get into office, because they're gonna try to change America into something that we shouldn't be. And this country will be a whole lot different. And all those people, Steve, that are saying that they want this stuff, they'll be begging and pleading. But by then, like you already told the story about Venezuela, and I told the story about it too after you told me. People better go and look at the story of Venezuela and what happened when those people. Venezuela was a thriving country at one point, Steve. Same thing with Iran. We can talk about Iran. Iran used to be a free country. People could do what they wanted to do, and then along came 1980. And that's when that man stepped in, and you see what happened to Iran for the next 40 years. He ran it with an iron fist, an iron foot. And that exact same thing could happen to the United States if they let the wrong man or the wrong people get in control, Steve. We could turn into another Iran or any other bogus deal country that has been Venezuela, that has been run amok. So American people better be very careful who they vote for, Steve, and think before you sign your name on that dotted line for one of these radicalized Democrats. And I thank you for taking my call.
All right. Thank you much there, Eagle. Have a great morning. All right. So, the extreme explosive diarrhea parasite continues to spread around the country. Taylor Farms pulled their iceberg lettuce. Taco Bell changed their suppliers. But something out there is still spreading, and it's going to more and more states. It's literally all over the country now. The Hill headline this past day, over 18,200 cases now suspected here in the U.S. It's getting worse in some areas. Take you to North Carolina, where they're saying fresh herbs are being investigated as a possible source. At a press briefing last week, state health officials said parsley and cilantro alongside lettuce were showing up repeatedly in interviews with patients who had fallen ill there. Now, they have not revealed where the patients ate before becoming sick or how many cases have been linked to each ingredient. That North Carolina has recorded some 561 cases and 16 hospitalizations to date. It's not believed, they say, that the North Carolina cases are connected, which how could that be? Not connected to the nationwide outbreak, linked to the iceberg lettuce from Taylor Farms. Last night, Michigan recorded more than 1,000 new cases, taking its total to like 9,000 infections. Wisconsin registered another 100 cases. Arkansas reported 13 more. So the numbers, you get the state numbers. States reporting higher cases than the CDC, because one report will say 11,000 Americans, another says, as I just said, 18,000 plus. The CDC's reporting has been hampered, they say, by delays and discrepancies between federal figures and state health department data, several states reporting substantially more cases than actually appear in the CDC's tally for some reason. But the scramble continues. FDA scrambling to find the source. The false positive that came back on the Taylor Farms facility. Of course, they issued the recall for their lettuce. They shut down production at the factory that was supposedly linked to the outbreak. Health officials in North Carolina said the link between parsley, cilantro, and the illness hasn't been confirmed at this point. This is just based on the interviews with patients, they say. Officials in the state also said commonly reported foods linked to cases in North Carolina: parsley, cilantro, and lettuce. So that's kind of like the first time the cyclosporiasis outbreak's being linked to something other than the iceberg lettuce. No idea how the herbs may have become contaminated. Like lettuce, they can also become contaminated if they're irrigated with water that might be laced with human fecal matter containing the parasite. To track the source, obviously officials interview patients about their diets, kind of compare their answers between all, trying to identify something that may have a link. Still advising wash all fresh herbs and produce thoroughly. Cutting any damaged or bruised areas off produce before consumption. Peeling off the outer leaves. There are 9 states, they're saying, not including North Carolina, that are directly linked to the major outbreak. In an update Friday last week, the CDC said epidemiology and traceback data continue to show the iceberg lettuce from Taylor Farms was contaminated and was making people sick. They're currently tracking, they say, 6 separate outbreaks nationwide. That doesn't mean the cases are unrelated to the main outbreak, but they may have been listed separately because they've been linked maybe to a separate food. Cyclosporiasis, gastrointestinal illness, and people that are being diagnosed with this. So you're talking about being sick for weeks and weeks. And, of course, with the diarrhea continuously, the dehydration is the factor that in most cases puts you in the hospital.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit. With a threaded Torque Lock design, these cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Like the men and women who power America, the people at Hot Shot Secret work hard and play harder. We're the fastest growing diesel and oil additive brand in the country. We solve problems. We protect engines. We save you money. And more importantly, time. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
It's time to step up your fuel filtration game. The AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel system doesn't just filter fuel like the others. It fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The AirDog removes contaminants, including particulates, water, air, and vapor, optimizing the pressure feed, providing your engine with the ultra-clean supply of fuel it needs for the quickest starts, smoothest idle, best fuel economy, and highest performance possible. Get started on the road to optimization today at airdogdiesel.com.
blueparrotdiesel.com. Truckers spend lots of hours on the road. So when it comes to staying connected, you need a headset that works just as hard as you do. Blue Parrot is the #1 headset brand for professional drivers, and we've taken the quality you've come to expect from us and made it even better. Check out our newest headsets, the Pro B350 and Pro B450, offering you more hours of talk time, better voice control, extreme comfort, and industry-leading AI voice isolation microphones. So you can spend more time talking about the important things and less time repeating yourself. To get yours, check out blueparrot.com. Blue Parrot, hear and be heard.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor, here with Tax Help MD. As many of you know from Steve Sommers' show, I've been helping professional drivers solve their tax problems. I can help you too. If you've been struggling with back tax debt, call me now at 888-557-4020. Let's face it, these problems aren't going away all on their own. You need professional help so you can sleep better at night knowing you're in good hands. It's like I always say, keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep my eyes on the IRS. 888-557-4020.
So you missed an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, and now you're suffering night sweats and panic attacks. Well, don't worry, we've got the cure. Never miss a broadcast of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Consistently ranked as one of the top podcasts and radio shows in America, we've made it easy for you to catch up on past shows. Find the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts or at overnightdriveradio.com. And never miss an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Well, from the You Can't Make This Stuff Up files, a night out on the town turned into one of the most unbelievable rescue stories ever. Apparently, after wandering into the forest after a night of drinking with friends, this guy was reported as missing. The search parties called out, unaware that he was the person everybody was actually searching for. He stumbled upon the volunteer search party and spent hours with them, essentially looking for himself. They say the search finally came to an end when rescuers began calling out his name. And he said, "Yeah, right here. What? You're the guy we're looking for. Huh?" You can't make this stuff up. All right, we're all familiar with karma. Karma can be a you-know-what. This may very well be one such case. Remember the bar owner there, the brewery owner in Minocqua, Wisconsin? The guy that was offering free beer for a day. Yeah, the day that essentially Trump dies. Forgot that guy. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reporting that the state of Wisconsin's Department of Revenue has sent a letter to the owner, Kirk Bangstad, owner of Minocqua Brewing Company, informing him that his business's permit to operate in the state has been revoked. The paper notes this news came after authorities seized canned beer from his company in June. Now, they said the adult beverages had been transported from Illinois without the required permits or taxes. He's fuming over the news, vowing to fight back. As you can imagine, I'm not taking this lying down, he says. We're going to fight the state of Wisconsin tooth and nail, and once again, they'll have to pry me from my tap rooms before I stop selling beer to thirsty progressives who come to visit us. Because the only people that are going to grace the doors of his establishment are the TDS sufferers, Trump derangement syndrome. He had posted a screenshot of the actual letter he got from the state's Department of Revenue, which noted that the revocation date is effective August 4, next Tuesday. Department of Revenue did indeed release a complete statement in regards to this. stating should the business decide to appeal, the next step would be to appeal to the Secretary of the Department of Revenue, who will assign the appeal to a Department of Revenue hearing examiner for their recommendations as to proposed findings of fact and conclusions of law. But the Gateway pundit had previously reported, he posted on the company's Facebook page, which, by the way, the Facebook post has now been deleted, sharing his outrage. This was the guy that was, I think it was the Correspondents' Dinner, right? The guy that tried to get in there to assassinate Trump. The free beer all day, the day he dies promotion. When he posted, we almost got free beer day. Mocked the marksmanship of whoever tried to take out the president. But that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. This guy is the farthest left of the left, a TDS sufferer through and through. He had founded the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC. He's poured millions of dollars into electing Democrat politicians, judges, and liberal causes throughout the state. Sued to keep Trump off the Wisconsin ballot, as a matter of fact, back in 2023 and 2024, unsuccessfully. News a service of Industrial Injection, fuel injectors, fuel pumps, turbochargers, complete diesel engine kits for the heavy-duty world. If it burns diesel, we can help keep it working. Learn more at industrialinjection.com.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground.
U.S. forces are striking Iran after American troops came under missile attack yesterday.
We're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them.
The Pentagon says the strikes are aimed at Iranian military targets and Iran-backed troops following the barrage of missiles targeting U.S. positions in the Middle East. Those missiles were intercepted. Raskin claims that the GOP momentum has faded.
Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin says he believes Republican enthusiasm has declined ahead of the election, pointing to what he describes as strong Democratic energy on the campaign trail. Raskin also criticized Republican election policies and raised concerns about potential disputes over voting rules. Republicans have pushed back, arguing their voters remain highly engaged. Ron Warner, USA Radio News.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
No matter who we are or where we come from, we all experience difficulties in life.
Military veterans know that sometimes it takes strength and determination to make it through.
Whether it's obvious physical challenges or struggles on the inside, it takes strength to ask for help when you need it.
I knew that I had to get support, not just for me, but for the sake of my wife and kids.
Talking about it has helped me feel more like myself again.
Honestly, it was hard to open up at first, but it's changed my life for the better.
Learn how veterans like us have reached out for help, and hear stories of strength and recovery at maketheconnection.net.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Like the men and women who power America, the people at Hot Shot Secret work hard and play harder. We're the fastest growing diesel and oil additive brand in the country. We solve problems. We protect engines. We save you money. And more importantly, time. Hot Shot Secret powered by science.
It's time to step up your fuel filtration game. The AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel system doesn't just filter fuel like the others. It fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The AirDog removes contaminants, including particulates, water, air, and vapor, optimizing the pressure feed, providing your engine with the ultra-clean supply of fuel it needs for the quickest starts, smoothest idle, best fuel economy, and highest performance possible. Get started on the road to optimization today at airdogdiesel.com. Truckers spend lots of hours on the road, so when it comes to staying connected, you need a headset that works just as hard as you do. Blue Parrot is the #1 headset brand for professional drivers, and we've taken the quality you've come to expect from us and made it even better. Check out our newest headsets, the Pro B350 and Pro B450, offering you more hours of talk time, better voice control, extreme comfort, and industry-leading AI voice isolation microphones. So you can spend more time talking about the important things and less time repeating yourself. To get yours, check out blueparrot.com. Blue Parrot, hear and be heard.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor, here with Tax Help MD. As many of you know from Steve Summers' show, I've been helping professional drivers solve their tax problems. I can help you too. If you've been struggling with back tax debt, call me now at 888-557-4020. Let's face it, these problems aren't going away all on their own. You need professional help so you can sleep better at night knowing you're in good hands. It's like I always say, keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep my eyes on the IRS. 888-557-4020.
So you missed an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive, and now you're suffering night sweats and panic attacks. Well, don't worry, we've got the cure. Never miss a broadcast of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive. Consistently ranked as one of the top podcasts and radio shows in America, we've made it easy for you to catch up on past shows. Find the Steve Summers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts or at overnightdriveradio.com. And never miss an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive.
Listening friends there, Billy on board. Morning, Steve, and the Overnight Drive, folks. Good to have you with us. Good morning, Steve, and the Overnight Drive crew. Happy Thursday. Dave checking in from Little Rock, Arkansas. Enjoying a beautiful 85-degree night. Headed back to Auburn, Indiana. Hope all your drivers have a good day there. Okay, thank you much. Good to have you on board, Dave. Safe travels. All right, back to the calls. The blind man.
Hey, Steve. I heard Fauci yesterday. I was absolutely disgusted. I hope they throw the book at him and put him in jail for the rest of his life. Now, I remember when it was before I was more or less forced into getting the COVID shot. I had pretty good vision, usable vision. Mm-hmm. I could write my own checks. I could get around. I still used the cane to let drivers know that I do have a vision problem. But after I took the COVID shot, my late fiancé insisted that I take it. That's when I lost what sight I had. Is now down to a little better than light perception. If you wave your hand maybe 5 inches from my face, I would probably see your hand waving. But I know when I go to the eye doctor next week, I'm going to ask him about getting some ivermectin or the other I don't know what it was, hydro something.
No, the hydroxychloroquine or something. Was that it?
Yeah. I want to see if I could reverse what happened when I was forced to take the jab. I wonder if there's going to be a class action suit against Fauci, because I sure like to be part of that.
Well, he got the federal pardon, but I guess Florida has already yesterday. They're the first state, Yeah, the presidential pardon does not affect the state level. They're already kicking off, looking at possibly making charges at a state level. Yeah, they're in Florida. Be interesting to see where that goes. And I tuned into a little bit of the testimony, but if you watching, apparently the headlines after the facts, I think it was Senator Johnson that held up a proverbial stack of research papers on the ivermectin. That proved that ivermectin was safe and effective and would have worked. And, of course, Fauci had denied that and told doctors around the country, don't prescribe it, don't allow people to have it, that it doesn't work. It was all a lie.
Yeah. I hope there's going to be a class action lawsuit against him. Tie him up for years in court. We'll probably never get any money out of it. But just having him go through this, make him suffer the way everybody else did. I listened to the hearings yesterday. I could hear the arrogance in his voice saying, I refuse to answer, blah. You know the whole bit.
Right.
And I just got sick and tired of it. And one of the senators dropped the F-bomb a couple of times.
Yes.
During his speech. And you could tell that some of the senators were really getting ticked off. Of course, the Democrats praised him, and it was just sickening to hear that part of when the Democrats turned to make statements or whatever. I don't know if they're going to ever learn anything. And the only way we can defeat them once and for all is that everybody get out and vote for the midterms. Please, don't take it for granted. Just get out there. Make believe that you're way, way behind and you got to catch up. And get out there. Now that I can't get outside without a lot of help with my walker and everything, I'll be voting by mail. I'll be one of the exceptions that Trump talked about because of being blind and everything. I just cannot go out alone anymore. It's too dangerous.
Right. And that's 100% acceptable. That's the way it should be. I mean, for years, the whole idea, if you're going to, truck drivers had the issue of not knowing if they're going to be in their home state come election day. They could vote absentee. If you know your schedule, the one year we were on a cruise ship, when election day rolled around. Knowing we were going to be gone, had to vote early or absentee. That's perfectly acceptable. The premise of just sending everybody on the voter registration rolls with an absentee ballot, that's just asking for fraud.
One final thought, Steve. I hope Seeing Eye got my phone number. I still like to talk to him. I'm curious how he came up with that handle. Did he know any blind people? It's interesting. You know how I like to talk to the truckers?
Right.
And when I talk to Eskimo Mom on Sundays, there's Brain Dead and his wife, and I think Renegade was on there a couple of times, so was Plowboy. It's fun talking to you guys. Really is. So anyway, that's all I have to say, and I hope everybody has a good Thursday. Sure, happy it's Thursday.
There you go. It's been a few days since we've heard that. What do you say? Sure, happy it's Thursday. Cargo theft, a growing problem, as we know, in the trucking industry. Thieves in North and South Carolina apparently may be more interested in the vehicles than the actual cargo. Investigators in the two states recently reported they've recovered some 13 semi-trucks 3 trailers and 2 other vehicles with a combined estimated value of more than $1 million. Florence County Sheriff's Office in South Carolina and Brunswick County, North Carolina, announcing the arrest of 2 related to an ongoing investigation into commercial motor vehicle thefts in the area. 38-year-old Andre David Jump of North Carolina, 37-year-old Prince Raymond Betts of North Carolina, arrested on 9 counts of grand larceny, criminal conspiracy, unlawful entry into enclosed places, and malicious injury to property. According to investigators, the 2 were accused of being involved in the theft of 9 commercial motor vehicles, dating back to 2022 up until last year. Jump and Betts released from the Florence County Detention Center on surety bonds, $68,000 and some change and $137,000 and change, respectively. Florence County Sheriff's Office said the investigation is ongoing. Additional charges and arrests are possible. Trucking, of course, often targeted for theft, but the cargo, in most instances, is the target. And we continue to see exponential growth in the cargo theft nationwide. Hey, what's going on with Rob this morning?
Morning, Steve. It's a beautiful night. The moon is gorgeous out there.
Looking like a full moon for sure, yes.
Pretty nice out. That story out of Monaco, Wisconsin kind of makes me laugh and doesn't surprise me with that brewery owner. That northeastern part of the state is, I always call it like Little Illinois. It's like, it's a beautiful area, but all the people from Illinois come up there too. I always call it like Chicago with trees, because it's just nothing but Illinois plate after Illinois plate after Illinois plate, jet skis and fancy boats and brand new Suburbans and everybody coming up to northeast Wisconsin for a vacation. So none of that liberal brewery owner there, that doesn't surprise me. But that comment about having to pry me from my tap room, I got a pretty good chuckle out of it.
Right,
that's pretty funny. I was wondering, I know Chris Gavelchuk is retired. Are you having anybody from there, the next scientist in line on any time soon? I have a couple questions about some of their products. I mean, I use their products, but I'd like to get in depth about one certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if you have anybody on from Hot Shot at all coming up.
Nothing on the slate. Well, what product in particular are you curious about?
Well, I'm the type of guy that buys a vehicle for the long haul. I mean, I had my last truck for like 17 years, and it's an investment for me, and I'd like to buy a new pickup truck, but I do worry a little bit about the type of fuel injection that's on it. They call it direct fuel injection,
mm-hmm.
and it has a tendency over a long period of time to get carbon buildup on the valves and inside the engine. And I really sold on this vehicle. I'm sold on the motor. It's a very durable engine. It's got a durable transmission, but that carbon buildup thing, I don't know if I use gasoline extreme, will that, regularly, will that keep that from happening? I already use that stuff anyways in all my other things, but I've never really looked into the carbon part of it.
I'm pretty certain, yes, the gasoline extreme would be the product, because that's the heavy duty detergent to break it down for and then you go to like the everyday diesel treatment after that. But
yeah, they claim, people that let it get so bad, the carbon buildup, that they have to do this, what they call like walnutting, where they take ground up,
mm-hmm.
walnut shells and reel like a powder, in order to have to blast it in there and kind of clean it out. And I guess the cleaning process can be pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So being kind of anal about my maintenance, I'd like to just stop that. And that'd be the only thing that would stop me from, prevent me from purchasing this vehicle. But if I can keep on top of it with a Hot Shot product, I certainly would. So.
Well, I can do a little more research, but like I said, I'm pretty certain that would be the route to take.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate it. And if you ever do have anybody in, I always like, Chris is getting him on the air. It was always nice for people calling in and giving their feedback, and he enjoyed hearing that.
Yes.
And it was nice to
the testimonials. Absolutely.
Yes. And throw a few scientific questions his way too. Keep him on his toes. That was always good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Steve.
Hey, Rob, thanks for checking in. Great to hear from you. I do appreciate. Hey, that means clear lines at 844-3388. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit. With a threaded Torque Lock design, these cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Truckers spend lots of hours on the road. So when it comes to staying connected, you need a headset that works just as hard as you do. Blue Parrot is the #1 headset brand for professional drivers, and we've taken the quality you've come to expect from us and made it even better. Check out our newest headsets, the Pro B350 and Pro B450, offering you more hours of talk time, better voice control, extreme comfort, and industry-leading AI voice isolation microphones. So you can spend more time talking about the important things and less time repeating yourself. To get yours, check out BlueParrot.com. Blue Parrot, hear and be heard. Advertising on the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive can make a huge difference for your business.
This is Dean Michael, the tax doctor, and I just want to say advertising on Steve Sommers' show has been the best marketing avenue for my business, providing the best return on investment consistently over everything else I've tried. I've done it all from TV commercials, pay-per-click on Google, search engine optimization, social media, and publishing ads in major magazines, but none of them came even close to doing what Steve Sommers' show did for me.
If you're interested in advertising on the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, drop us an email at ssod@hotshotsecret.com. Ready to beat the heat this summer? Keep your long haul, short haul, off-road adventure, or just stay cool while on site with Be Cool. Designed with on or off-the-road vehicles in mind, Be Cool offers you DC-powered cooling, low voltage protection, easy installation, and more. Beat the heat with Be Cool. It's the cooler way to go. With air conditioners for semi-trucks starting at $888. Get yours today. Visit b-coolaircon.com or call 778-590-5000. That's 778-590-5000. It's time to step up your fuel filtration game. The AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel system doesn't just filter fuel like the others. It fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The AirDog removes contaminants, including particulates, water, air, and vapor, optimizing the pressure feed, providing your engine with the ultra-clean supply of fuel it needs for the quickest starts, smoothest idle, best fuel economy, and highest performance possible. Get started on the road to optimization today at airdogdiesel.com.
It's no secret, today's diesel isn't as good as it should be. Diesel lacks lubricity. That can lead to fuel system failure, costing thousands in repairs. But you can prevent those issues with Hot Shot Secret products. Clean injectors, boost cetane, increase fuel economy while adding 4 times more lubricity than the leading competitor. Claims proven by real-world use and confirmed by third-party ASTM testing. Available nationwide at truck stops, farm and automotive stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Well, for whatever reason, it appears the stock market was not real pleased yesterday. I guess with the Fed leaving the key rate unchanged at 3.6%. Despite inflation and a spike in energy prices with the ongoing conflict in Iran, the Fed's rate-setting committee reached a 9-3 decision after 2 days of deliberations, a 5th straight meeting where the benchmark rate was kept at around 3.6. Dissenting in favor of a quarter-point interest rate hike were Beth Hammack, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, as well as the chiefs of the Minneapolis Fed and the Dallas Fed. Inflation's been stuck above the central bank's 2% target for more than 5 years. It has remained stubbornly high this year, primarily due to the Iran war, which obviously spikes energy prices. So the rate-setting committee reached their decision to keep the Fed funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75%. All right, I guess the three that called or signaled that they would be open to raising rates. Yeah, most Wall Street traders expect the Fed to hike rates at their next meeting, which is coming up mid-September. Okay, members of the central bank's rate-setting committee may not be so reluctant to act when they gather again September 15 through the 16th. Policymakers say they want to see more economic data. Today, the Commerce Department delivers the first look at April through June economic growth. They'll also publish the Fed's preferred inflation measure, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, for the month of June. Overall, only 29% of Wall Street traders had predicted the Fed would raise rates this week. And we're now seeing 76% do foresee a hike in September. Policymakers' patience with persistent inflation is pretty much exhausted, they're saying, meaning that there is a significant risk of a rate hike in September. Of course, the uncertainty being cast over the decision-making is the continued violence in Iran. The price of oil briefly jumped again past $100 per barrel last week, since which it had settled down on hopes we could find some way to reduce tensions. I think briefly it did jump above 90 again this past day, when the reports came in of us and oddly enough, Saudi Arabia actually working hand in hand, striking. It was actually Iraq and Iran. Central Command said the President Trump vowed to retaliate after Iran targeted the base in Jordan. Elsewhere, drone strikes ignited fires on 2 natural gas vessels at a port in Egypt. Not immediately clear who was responsible for those strikes on a U.S.-owned floating storage facility and a Greek-owned tanker. There were no injuries reported there. So we're talking multiple fronts kind of flaring up after several days of relative calm that had raised the risk of a return to all-out war once again. Egypt is, of course, a close U.S. ally and a regional mediator, is one of the only countries in the Middle East to have been spared direct military action during the war. A strike by Iran or its allies, if confirmed, on Egypt. Again, that marks the next phase of widening the conflict. Asked during an Oval Office event if Iran was responsible for the strikes on the natural gas vessels, the president said, it's a little more of the same, essentially. It's going to be straightened out, he said. In the meantime, we're going to be hitting them hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it. But Saudi Arabia had accused the Iraqi militias of firing drones against them from their soil in Iraq. There's an umbrella group of Iraqi militias that initially denied the allegations. while another group, the Houthi rebels in Yemen, said that they attacked the Saudi energy facilities as part of a separate but related conflict. All right. Regional officials said mediators are still trying with both sides to get a ceasefire back on track. No real details on the progress of that, but again, I think we've all learned over time, not going to hold our breath on that. So we've got our final hour just around the corner here as we roll into a Thursday. Plenty of room for you at 844-844-3388. How about a shout-out? 5-7 morning, copy of the mail, go Navy. Time to get your day started there, right? Cup of coffee, right? Meanwhile, news, a service of industrial injection. Heavy-duty diesel parts and solutions from injectors and pumps to turbochargers and engines built for the trucks that can't afford downtime. Learn more at industrialinjection.com.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit. With a threaded Torque Lock design, these cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Truckers spend lots of hours on the road. So when it comes to staying connected, you need a headset that works just as hard as you do. Blue Parrot is the #1 headset brand for professional drivers. And we've taken the quality you've come to expect from us and made it even better. Check out our newest headsets, the Pro B350 and Pro B450, offering you more hours of talk time, better voice control, extreme comfort, and industry-leading AI voice isolation microphones. So you can spend more time talking about the important things and less time repeating yourself. To get yours, check out BlueParrot.com. Blue Parrot, hear and be heard. It's time to step up your fuel filtration game. The AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel system doesn't just filter